Yo guys, what's up? DANIMAL back again. It's been a little while since we've put a video out there. It's been about 2 weeks, nearly 3 weeks now. We've been doing some other bits during pre-patch and all sorts, sorting out WoW, sorting out the WoW team and guild and stuff like that. So we're just getting a few things a little bit ready. Plus FIFA came out, so I was playing that too. Don't judge. So we're coming up to the last two installments of this new player's guide to 2020, or just, you know, sort of like mapping it out towards the kind of Shadowlands build up. As I mean, Shadowlands would have been out this week. It got delayed, so I delayed my content coming out a little bit as well, just to stagger it before Shadowlands hits. The last two videos, they're going to be the last one's going to be aimed at what to do now that you're 50, but this one is add-ons that I myself personally can't live without, and they might help you too. It'd be a little bit like the keybinds video, where like they're the keybinds that I use and the keybinds that I can't live without. These are going to be the same thing, where it's going to be add-ons that I personally use. Some you might not have any effect for, but I think that some of them would also be accounted as essential. So let's get into it. Roll the music. Okay, right, section 1 of the video. Let's do this. So, guys, add-ons. What is an add-on, you might say? Some of you might already know, some of you might not at all. Let's just quickly, briefly go over what an add-on is. So, an add-on, like if you're familiar with quite a few games, especially like games on Steam, Skyrim, or even Minecraft, there are modifications that can be made on the game. They're often called mods, or what do they call it? The workshop files that are on Steam. But WoW, it's vaguely similar sort of thing. It's modifications on WoW. They're just called add-ons because they don't necessarily modify the game. They just add on to the game. That's where the term add-on comes from. These are all free outsourced creations from people who have coded them to work inside the game. They are free to download. I'll show you how to do that at the end of the video if you're interested in doing the add-ons. But what I'm going to go through is my specific add-ons that I like to use. So like I said, they are not like modifications to the game. They're just add-ons. So they're there to give you extra information, and they're there to give you extra bits of help to improve your gameplay and overall quality of life. So the first add-on that I'm going to talk about that I believe is one of my favorites. And it's not been for a long while. It's only recently, in the past year or so, that I've actually adopted to using this. But it's LVY. Now, LVY is the modification that you can see that does the entirety of my interface here. So you can see where these bars can fade in and fade out. They control all of that. It controls the actual look and overall business that goes on my actual interface. Now, the reason I'm going to talk about LVY first is because a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't like it. It's a very Marmite add-on. It's almost one that needs a bit of time to get used to and take into account. Now, the reason I'm going to do this first is that if you don't like LVY, the other add-ons, and I'll give you some other suggestion add-ons that can be used in replacement to LVY that might help out, help you out building something similar that won't change the entirety. So LVY changes everything. You can see when I bring up like my honor tab, the raid tab, everything like this. Look, everything is changed. It's all sleek and good looking. I've activated my burning rush. Will be there. The add-on pane, look, everything, all of the text, all of the colors, everything, it all just looks a lot sleeker. Some people don't like it because it's so detracted from what you had before, all the talents and everything. But when you get used to it, you kind of get used to it, just like you would get used to the WoW UI. If you're new and you want to have like a different kind of looking snazzy UI, then and if you like design and stuff as well, right, you can completely design your entire WoW UI from this one add-on. So it has its own interface option here. As you can see, it's got general. You can do your action bars, your bags, your buffs and debuffs, your chat, cooldowns, data bars, everything, including nameplates. And does it have map as well? Yeah, it has map on there as well. And the unit frames as well. Like, for example, when I go into party, I can just display those. So my party frames show up there. My raid frames will show up there. So when I'm in a raid less than 40, if the raid goes up to 40, they shrink down a little bit and they come a little bit smaller. And that's generally what they'll look like. It changes everything of the look. So it changes the bars here, the nameplates. So it's very different to the standard Blizzard UI. And it's just pretty much everything. But like I said, if you really don't like the look of LVY, there are other options that I will give afterwards that can enhance these things. And I do suggest, like, at least if you're not going to use LVY, I do suggest getting some nameplates and possibly maybe some extra action bars. It depends if you don't like the Blizzard one. If you like all the Blizzard art that's on like the talents and everything like that, then there is one way you can get extra bars and that and change the look of that, because the interface is kind of large and you can shrink that down. It's always good to have kind of a smaller interface that you can get used to, so that you have less clutter on your screen, so you can see more, and I guess you're increasing your own field of view in that way. There's nothing like, this might be personal, but having so much stuff all over your screen is very, very, very distracting. And if you can get away with having all of the information in a tidy manner, like a tidy room creates a tidy mind. Is that the right thing? I don't know if that, like, if that is not a saying, then I'm coining it. So LVY, guys, that's what I use to change all of my interface options. As you can see, everything is fully customizable on where it goes on here, right down to where the talking head frame goes, to where the tooltip shows, to where the big boss button is, the zone ability button, the leave vehicle button, and then obviously you've got everything else which be done as well. So that's my first add-on suggestion, LVY. If we don't like LVY, but we do like the look of the nameplates, there is an add-on called Plater, and there's also another one called Tidy Plates, but I think Plater is probably the best one. Plater is basically what LVY uses built into it to have this. They are fully customizable. If you have, I don't have the Plater add-on downloaded, so I can't show you like the options and stuff, but to access like all of your add-on instructions, you come to this section here. So it's interface. You have the game options there, but then you have add-ons here too. So this will be, you'll be able to control all of your add-ons like instructions and stuff here. But if you have Plater, you'll have the Plater part there. You'll be able to do customizations, and you can make them look however you want. But what's good about these is like these nameplates. Oh, they're not. They're going to be too. They're going to be too low level for me to show off what it looks like. Hold on. Well, what we're going to do is drop out the sky, and we're going to land at the training dummies. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Up. There we go. Just landed, guys. Perfectio. So, as you see, the nameplate's above the dummy here. When I use my immolate, you can see that we've got this little section here. But I also, so these are obviously my, the way I've done my nameplates is I've got them to fade. They disappear at a certain distance. When you get close, that is that I should be able to like bloom them in. There you go. They bloomed in. I've got the percentage of how much is left because as Affliction, when I'm on my Warlock, I want to snipe some of those low-level mobs to gain shards from a Drain Soul. If I'm a Warrior, I want to be looking at if they're towards execute range, so I can kill them then. So the percentage here is really useful as well. I think the standard, I haven't used the standard ones for a very long time now, so I don't know how well they look at the moment, but Plater can change them to look like how LVY have them, and they'll be fully customizable so you can have all the information that you need. And I cannot stress how much using nameplates is so important in WoW. In all kinds of content, it is very, very useful. So if you don't like LVY, definitely get Plater and then customize those, and that will be another one of my add-on suggestions there. Okay. Right, so the next add-on I'll talk about is WEAKAURAS. This is almost essential to your it's becoming an almost essential add-on that people use this so much. It's so damn useful, especially as new players as well. So What I forgot to mention with LVY is if you like the look of my UI, for example, I can go into Elv and get my profiles, and you can export profiles. Now, I could export this into a text document, and I can allow you guys to then take that text document and import it in, and you import it into this, and you can just put it, and then bang, you'll have my exact UI set up with all where everything is. It won't be completely exact because I have other add-ons on top of that, but the basis of it, so like maybe these bits here, these guys here, I have a custom font as well. It's a bit more advanced later down the line if you want to sort of like find out a good sort of like combo for Elf UI and the WEAKAURA add-on that I'm about to show you. I use Preach Gaming's UI pack and his basically, well, not his UI, but I use his WEAKAURA pack, and he has on there his Elf UI as well, which suits his UI pack, but I just use his UI pack and move stuff around a little bit to suit my own UI. So this add-on WEAKAURAS basically gives you control over things you see on the screen. So when you saw that I was in combat, so just wait for it to load, the frame rate goes down a little bit crazy while things are loading up. There you go. So that basically just loaded everything that I've got loaded here. So this will be all the ones that I have loaded on my Warlock. I have lots of them here. Like I said, I downloaded Preach's, probably should move that in the middle of the screen. I downloaded Preach's ones here. So he has ones for every class. He is updating them regularly, so I would, keep up to date with those if you want to do that. But what I'll show you is I'll show you the website and everything in a minute where you can do this. WEAKAURAS is massively important, and you can go into a massive tutorial on how to do WEAKAURAS. But very simply, just if you want to do it sort of the basic way, just like I just showed you, I had an export on my LVUI. You can do exactly the same. You can import and export just by copy and pasting the text file into this, and then you get that UI. So say you wanted this big mark here, I could just copy and paste that, bang, send it to you. You can pop it in, and it will be there on your screen, and then you can click on it and move it about wherever you want. So let me just load all of these guys again, just so that it like shows everything on screen. So this isn't always going to be up on screen. So my resource that I use is soul shards. Now I have a counter here which shows my soul shards. Like I said, this is what Preach did. I've modified them a little bit to look like my UI, but as the best part, they are the same. I'll put a link down to his UI video down there, so that if you want to download Elf and you want to download all of that stuff, you can follow that, and that can show you how to do it. He does master guides and everything, and if you're a big supporter of WoW and you want to follow someone, following Preach is perfect. He's always welcoming new people around, and he's been around the scene for such a long time. He's almost part of WoW furniture. But he's someone that I've taken a lot of inspiration from with these sort of things, and this is his effectively most of his team and his work has gone into making these WEAKAURAS. So this is an add-on. Like, it would have taken me hours and hours and hours and hours and days and days and days to set up making all of this, and what his team's gone and done is, if I get in combat, it'll show you like what they are. So here we go. I'll just spam my abilities so we can tell. So as you can see, these resources will be going up and down. It can track my major main cooldowns and everything. That was just sort of like, I'm going to wait for my dot to come off actually. So as you can see, like my main cooldowns here, you can see that my conflagrate's coming off cooldown. I know that it's hit, so I can press it. I can keep track of that here. So my bars don't need to necessarily, I don't need to be bar watching. I can be watching in the middle of my screen. So I know that my conflagrate's coming up now. There we go. Done. If I wanted to use my cooldowns, they disappear. And you can see there's a cooldown time here. My Infernal, I know he's smashing around. I know that this is here means that I need to reapply my dot. So, I mean, I'm not really explaining this like the most perfect way, but it keeps track of all my abilities. I know that I'm at full soul shards. I can unload a bit of those guys as well. I'm not doing my full rotation because I'm just trying to give you guys an example. But as you see, look, it's giving me all sorts of things when things are running out. I know I need to reapply my dot because it's coming down. I know that my conflagrate's off cooldown. I know my Havoc's off cooldown still as well, and my defensive abilities too. So this basically tracks everything for me, and I can keep track of my soul shards. So I can keep it more central in the middle. You know that you've already got on the standard Blizzard UI, it's got the health bars and any combo points, and if you play a Warlock, soul shards and stuff will be on there. In a very, very simplistic way, this just takes it that one step further, so that you can see more of the game. And I've got those for everything, but like I said, they're Preacher's ones, so if you want to download them, go download them off of him, and I'll put a link to his latest video of how to do all of that in the description down the bottom. I'm going to have to start writing these down because I need to know that. But WEAKAURAS, like I said, I believe this is becoming an essential part of WoW, and if you want to enhance your gameplay, WEAKAURAS is the number one that will start doing that. The next, which is almost essential add-on nowadays as well, is a damage meter. Now I use details. I believe there is recount as well, and I think an old one which was SCADA, and I think the oldest one was called damage meter. I prefer details, so I'm just going to say, because these are my personal preference add-ons, I'm not going to say these are the ones that you need to use. These are my personal preference. I personally use details just because of the customization and the ability that it gives me. So the damage meter is these two windows down here. They're very, very changeable, so I can change that to healing done if I wanted to. I keep my two on dynamic damage overall, so I can see the overall damage I've done during the dungeon and that current fight. So it's customizable by, you know, you can put overall data, current segment. I keep one on current segment so I can see what I'm doing in that pull or that that specific boss or whatever, and then I see what I've done overall in the situation of dungeon, raid, whatever, so I can see how much I'm contributing to a dungeon overall, and I can see how much I'm contributing during fight to fight. Now this has a few reasons why using this add-on. One is obviously to track improvements, trying new things out, seeing what you can do on certain places to get higher DPS or higher damage in that situation. Two, it feeds my competitive nature and feeds the ego. It's important to know that 99% of WoW community will be using damage meters, and a lot of them are elitist. These are WoW players. Don't let this put you off the game or doing these kind of things. Don't let it scare you. It's just the way some people are. They can be elitist. Even if they're elitist doesn't mean they're going to be toxic, but they can be toxic. And one of those things is they will look at damage meters and they will go, "You're not doing enough damage. Kick him." Ugh. The only way you're going to improve your damage is by playing more. The only way you're going to improve and see the improvements is by tracking your own damage. So use it as a tool, not to be competitive necessarily, but to compete with yourself. Kind of like when you do a racing game and you do like that time trial track where you go round and then it gives you your best lap and then you try and beat that best lap. Try and do that with your damage meter. Even if you have the right stuff down, right? Write down what you did in that entire dungeon, the amount of damage you did in that entire dungeon, and then think about what you can do better. Even if you don't stream or make content, find a way of recording those dungeons and see where you could have done that damage better, and then use that damage meter as your reference point of what improvements you can see. It's fairly simple to explain though. Damage meter shows you how much damage you do. It has healing stuff on there as well, has dispels, tons of information about what's going on in that specific dungeon or fight or whatever you do. It's just a great information tool, and it is very staple to WoW, and it's always been very staple for 14 years to 15 years of WoW existence in my WoW life, I guess. So details damage meter or any damage meter of the sort, recommended. Okay, so there's one more very essential add-on to WoW that if you do want to take WoW a bit more seriously and you do want to get further in, it's almost a requirement for if you want to join a raiding guild, or you want to play raids and get the best gear possible. Boss mods are almost mandatory because they give you the additional warnings and key strategy points that's needed to aid you through that encounter. I use Big WIGS and another add-on called Little WIGS, which does dungeons, but there is another one called Deadly Boss Mod as well, so yeah, it's often abbreviated to DBM. So Big WIGS and DBM are the two big boss mods. These will have all of the information available on certain boss fights. It will tell you like breath incoming, and then when the dragon does a big breath attack, you know that you have to move because it said breath incoming. You can react faster and you can stay alive, and then therefore you become a better raider and a better player because you react faster. But without these boss mods, you've got to go pure. I mean, you can hardcore it if you want, but you've got to rely purely on your sight and your instinct for what the boss is doing. A lot of people don't play like that because I don't want to say WoW rotations are complicated, but I can say that WoW rotations take focus, and that if you've got something to kind of jog your memory when you're kind of fixated and focused on doing your rotations and that, and focusing on other things, if you've got something that goes beware, which I believe is DBM that does that, you kind of go, oh, okay, the attack's coming, I need to react. And it gives you kind of audio and visual cues on the screen to do things that, you know, you perhaps might not hear, or you might have a lapse in concentration. They're still going to happen, even with this mod. So these are almost mandatory for raiders to come in and use. I think I can just use the test bars. Maybe I can use the test bars. Yeah, so the reason I use little wigs, I'm just going to throw this out there, is that it was more customizable than Deadly Boss mod. Big wigs, sorry. I use little wigs and big wigs, but there you go. So it's playing as it goes. So the little bar came there. That was the attack coming there. It gave me a warning, and then bang, gave me the red test 2, gave me a warning there. So that would be something like, get out of the fire, and it would do that as well. You have the anchor points here. So this is where it will all happen. I do plan to move stuff around, just haven't raided for a little while. So it just gives me that information that perhaps I'm not thinking about at that time. Like I was saying, I don't want to say that WoW rotations are quite complex, because they can be fairly easy. They might not seem it at first, but they can be fairly easy, but it's very easy to get stuck in focus. So you do need that thing to jog you. And it just gives you all the information. And if you're dying within boss fights, try using one of these boss mods, and it will give you all the information that you need. But that's what I use, and that's what I've always used, and it's just stayed there. Even though I might not need it necessarily, it's still useful to have, because it gives you those. It's like when you're on the motorway and they put the bumps every now and then to wake you up, where you go, and you're like, oh yeah, I should be driving, not sleeping. Yeah, DBM or bigwigs, big suggestion. It will, if you don't use it already and you've been raiding and then you use it, you'll probably come back to me in the comments and go, yeah, okay, that changed my life. Okay guys, so we're on the desktop screen. We're going to explain the last add-on in the set. So it's kind of like a mandatory add-on this now. If you want to take WoW seriously in the end game, like I said, with DBM and bigwigs, it will be expected to be used. But as for like Mythic Plus and raiding, if you want to get groups, if you perhaps don't have any friends, or you know, just in general, it's all about your Rio score, your Raider.io. It comes from a website, this website in here called Raider.io, shortened to Rio. The add-on just gives information from this website, which tracks via the add-on, tracks all of your kind of prestige in WoW, I guess. So the higher Mythic Plus keys you do, the higher raiding you do, it all gets kind of noted on here. So as you can see, the rank 1 team right here is done in Mechagon Junkyard. It's a 32 plus key, which is huge. It was done in this amount of time. It was done by these 5 people. Horde tells you their score they get for it, and it tells you the affixes that were involved when they did it as well. It tells you the spread of what classes are being played in Mythic Plus. So this is just a Mythic Plus section. You've obviously got raids here as well, so you can have a look at the raid ranking, and you can tell which guilds are the top guilds. So you have a look at the top guilds in your areas and on your servers and what. You can look at it all here, but everybody downloads this add-on called Raider.io. So that being said, it does have its downsides. It leads to some kind of competitiveness, ranking, rating, you know, with anything like that. With any kind of rank, it comes with its toxicity, it comes with its like downsides, but to the extent is something that is almost mandatory to have, because people will see that you don't have the score and they'll just disregard you completely, because they'll think that you're not taking it seriously. And if you want to do the high-end stuff, get the high-end gear, you want to be competitive, you want to be invited to these groups to do so, because you perhaps won't make friends if you don't do so. If you don't do these high Mythic Plus keys, you're not going to make people on a similar level to you. But I would say by the time that you're thinking about getting this add-on, you will have a kind of grasp on what's going on, and you'll know about it anyway. So I would download it in, you know, just download it in the Foresight anyway. So, like I said, it tracks everything that you've done, your highest prestige things that you do, and amalgamates it into a score, which essentially the higher the score, the better reflection it has on you. It's almost like having a CV, so that it's like your WoW CV. You can go into a group and you say, I want to do this raid with you guys, and they go, well, you've not got a very high Rio score. If you've got that high Rio score, they're going to go, right, no questions asked, let's have a look at your gear instead. And then they're going to see that, and then they're going to obviously invite you, and then it's down to you for your ability to show what you're going to do. It's a kind of advanced add-on for people who are looking to advance in their play, but I would say just download it anyway, ready, and get used to looking at it and checking it, so that just like the damage meter, you can find the improvements and stuff. And you can also use this website to improve on what you're doing, because you can see, like, if I wanted to know what this monk tank was running, it gives all of his gear, his specs. With Battle for Azeroth, it has all of the essences and Azerite traits. You need to worry about that. But in Shadowlands, it will have all of the Covenant abilities and all sorts like that. But it shows the trinkets they're running, the specs and talents that they're running. It will show you everything that you need to know, what they did for that specific run. So if perhaps maybe you're struggling in particular on that one that one dungeon, you can find the most optimal setup that people are using. And if it's consistent throughout the people that are all doing it for that spec in class, really, then you know it's a no-brainer. I should run that and try it out and make my own judgment on it. I will show you how to download the add-ons. Now, the add-ons go into this folder here. So it's the WoW folder. So you're in wherever you store your WoW folder, you find it here. You have the game launcher. You have all of the other data. So we play on retail, obviously. Brings you to this screen here. Now, the add-ons are stored in the interface folder, the add-ons folder, and you can see all of the files here. And it is just as simple as going onto a website such as CurseForge. CurseForge is the main website for WoW add-ons. As you can see, you can get add-ons everywhere. WildStar, Minecraft, Skyrim, Rift, all of these guys here, they do support mods for everything. And these are all the heavily modded games, actually, that I said that, like, you know, I mentioned ages ago. Minecraft sitting there with 70,000 mods. That is actually crazy. But if you go over to the World of Warcraft add-on section, you'll grace you with all of these add-ons here. Now, this looks a little bit overwhelming, I understand. It's quite simple, as if you wanted details, just go onto the details thing here. You can then press the download button, wherever it is, up here. Now, they haven't quite updated their servers yet. So Twitch, the Twitch app used to link with CurseForge, and you used to be able to manage your add-ons with that. But now they've discontinued that, so you cannot. They've sold the CurseForge thing onwards. So now this doesn't really work. You can't use that. So there is now a replacement. Someone has created this kind of add-on called wowup.io. You can just go. That's simply the website. You can download it from there. It is trustworthy. I can admit that it's trustworthy right now after using it for a couple of weeks. That's part of the reason why I didn't release this video sooner, is because I wanted to double check that this was okay. But as you see, my pawn needs updating here. I can't say that one seriously right now. So I can just click update there. But this will identify all of your add-ons and all of your folders. You can click your check for updates. So it will check for all the updates here. See, WellQuest tracker needs updating now. That will update it, and it will keep everything up to date. You can put it on automatic update. You can have it run when you start up your PC, so your add-ons will always be updated. You never need to worry about it. But I like to manually check, just to double check, and it has everything on here. Now, it does have a way you can browse the add-ons too, and you can install them straight from here. So I believe that you can just click on it and it'll grab it for you and install it straight into your WoW folder. But essentially, if you don't want to do that and you don't want to trust that, you can keep checking for updates on CurseForge. You can download them, and it comes into a zip file, and then you just unzip it into this folder here, into the add-ons folder, and then it will be into your World of Warcraft. So guys, there it is. Thanks for tuning in to my sort of little add-ons video that I wanted to do. I just wanted to show off some of the things that I do, because I think that a lot of those would help newer players too, and it kind of helps understand how add-ons kind of work and how you get into them. That being said, guys, I'm always available for help, especially when I'm streaming on Wednesdays and Fridays, 8 PM UK time. If you go onto my... I'm just going to have to look at this to coordinate. I just have to remember, point that way. Boom. twitch.tv/Danimal UK. If you guys ever want to join in, hit the follow button, hit the notification button. I will throw up random streams. Not so much at the moment, because I'm just kind of doing other stuff while I'm off stream. But when Shadowlands comes out, it's going to be a lot of dedication to playing WoW. So there's sometimes going to be no reason for me to not just chuck a stream up randomly. So I will always stream on the Wednesday. I will always stream on the Friday, unless announced otherwise on Twitter. But if you guys ever want to come along, you want to get some information, perhaps you're a new player, returning player, or even just normal, you know, and you just enjoy watching a stream and being part of a new community, then come stop by. The love will be accepted wherever. So guys, thank you very much. Take care, and I'll catch you in the very last video in this series, which will be what we're going to do when we hit level 50, and what's there to do in WoW once we're at max level. And that will cap off the series, and then we'll be going into some probably different kind of content, which hopefully you guys will enjoy, but we'll see. Take care.